I am Dr. Seena Paul from Sri M.D. Sharmila College of Arts and Commerce, Mumbai. Today we are going to discuss a new topic. The topic is corporate culture, ecosystem and women. The module number is 6. In this paper, we will be looking at how through improvement in corporate culture, there can be better gender diversity in the corporate world. The position of women in the corporate management has taken substantial strides in the last few decades. Yet across the globe, women are underrepresented in the higher echelons of management. For example, women's representation in Financial Times Stock Exchange 100 board members were just 23.5% in 2015. In other words, out of the current total of 1,119 board members, only 263 board members were women. A closer look at the corporate board of the other advanced countries, we realize the trend is no different. For example, a study on the corporate board composition of Australian company shows that the percentage of on Australian Securities Exchange 20, Australian Security Exchange 50, Australian Security Exchange 100, Australian Security Exchange 200 member company boards varied in the range from 20 to 23%. Whereas in the case of USA, women representation is only 9% on the board of Standard & Poor 500 member companies and 16% on the board of Standard & Poor member companies of 1,500 overall. Further, we can see women representation in the company boards of the developing country is no different. They are as underrepresented as a developing country. For instance, India, women represented only 6% on the board of listed companies in India. The situation at the level of executive committee is far more precarious than the corporate board. Even from the high performing countries in the area of gender diversity such as Sweden, it has only 21% of women in the company executive committees, whereas in the case of UK and Germany, women representation of the executive committee is only 15% and 7% respectively in 2013. The situation in developing country is far more depressing. India, for example, their share of women in the executive committee is only 3% in 2013. Now let's look at gender-based barriers to senior management position. The question what follows is from the above, what are the impediments that women face in the advancement in the corporate sector? These barriers faced by female employees in the advancement to senior position are multiple and can be arranged in two categories. They include barriers which are internal to women and barriers which are arising due to structural issues which women face in the society as well as in the cooperative setting. For example, barriers which are internal to women are women lack of confidence, assertiveness, ambition and competitiveness. Along with the internal barriers also arise from external factors such as societal factors and corporate culture. Barriers from societal factors arise from the deeply rooted culture of society. An instance of society bias towards women is the perception that women are more appropriate than men to perform the role of the caregiver to aging parents, small children or other family member. The caregiving role of the woman extends all her lifetime and she receives very little support from other family members. As a consequence, women frequently have to take time not only from the careers to fulfill the role as a from which they have to give a high professional price.
I walked into you. Oh, life is swell when suddenly someone rings your bell and oops, you are off your feet when you walk into love. One day.
On account of such ramp-offs, women hesitate to take up promotional opportunities, or women are less considered for promotional opportunities, and when they do re-enter the career stream, it is often difficult for them to gain momentum and parity in promotion and earning power with their male counterpart. Although less widespread than societal issues related to corporate culture significantly interferes and inhibit female advancement. The issues relating to corporate culture which act as a barrier to women's advancement include old boys network, corporate practices and policies in training and career development, and glass cliffs. The male-dominated old boy network is the most significant barrier which shuts women out of the top management. What is old boy network? The old boy network consists of males who have been educated at the same institution or who have climbed the corporate ladder together. Men who are part of this network often look at the fellow members to fill in the new position or any promotion opportunity. As women are frequently outside these networks, generally they are not even considered when new opportunities or promotion come. The network not only hurts women when it comes to promotion, but women who have already reached an elite corporate position are excluded from the new business opportunity in the absence of any such network. Further, fundraising is another difficulty faced by women in top management who are excluded from this boys club. Corporate practices and policies in training and career development are the other impediments that are faced by women who are at the top. It is observed that career advancement women need experience in areas such as operation, manufacturing and marketing, but often women managers are not exposed to such kind of experience in their early years of career. Similar, this line of experience is also crucial for the COE position and other senior management position. As a base of training is not addressed at the lower ranks of management, subsequently, when women rise to position later in their career, they often find themselves excluded from the upper ranks of management. The next point is the phenomena of glass cliff. This is another threat that women have to face who enter the position of power. In their study of Ryan and Haslam have elaborated how women who are able to overcome the glass ceiling are considered as suitable candidates to take over units in the crisis situation. But on heading such units, women have to face the potential risk of burnout or failure, as women receives very little support for fulfilling her professional roles, and she often finds these roles highly stressful, and many a time she is forced to leave the position. Departure is often attributed to the woman's lack of skill or her unwillingness to commit to hard work needed at the higher level of leadership. Empirical evidence, corporate culture as a barrier to women's advancement. Now, as compared to social factors, individual mindset, corporate culture appears to be more decisive in determining women's advancement in the corporate world. There are ample evidences to prove unfavorable corporate culture which act as a significant barrier in their advancement to the top levels of organization hierarchy. To quote a few studies which have highlighted the role of corporate culture as a barrier in women's advancement to the top level of organization. Bruton Miller, in their cross-cultural comparative research, examined the reason why women in the senior manager position in the USA and Europe decide to accept or decline board-level job. The study indicated that a range of factors hamper women's progress in the corporate world. However, among the crucial factors are management style and organization culture. The majority of women interviewed in the course of the study felt that the executive roles are gendered masculine roles, and this leads some companies to develop boorish culture, and some interviews avoided the organization or sectors in which this was more likely to be the case. Women also noted that our advancement in the organization is made easier or more difficult as they largely depend on macro posturing in the higher elcoms. Kansu Akapania, in her cross-country comparative study on the career obstacle faced by female executives in Turkey and France, indicated that female executives in both the countries considered corporate culture as a significant barrier to career advancement. Out of the 10 women executives interviewed both in France and Turkey, approximately 80% believe that corporate culture is a main barrier for the women executives. Another study which was done by Kausa Salima and Haifa, in their study examined female managers' perception of their organization in relation to women's career progression. The results of the study reveal that female managers perceive that the career progression is affected by organization culture, practices and networks, and in addition, the women in the study perceived Vasta to be a powerful determinant for women career progression. Harvey Nash survey focused on why so few women were sitting on the board and executive committees in business. The research covered 600 executive directors, non-executive directors, and other senior business leaders from a range of different size companies in different industries and different countries. The survey found that the primary barrier to women progression in the organization was a male dominated corporate culture, and this culture is so ingrained that gender bias is endemic and largely unconscious. This culture affects recruitment, development, promotional decision, as well as values, attitudes, behaviors, and belief in the organization. This big cultural barrier underpins all the other structural barriers cited by respondents. Similarly, a study was done by McKinsey and Co. on gender and workplace diversity identified factors which determine women confidence level in reaching top management position. The survey identified two sector factors, that is corporate culture and individual mindset and attitude, that affects women's confidence to achieve their career goal. Out of the two factors, the study indicated company culture was twice as important as individual factor in conditioning women in their chance of success. Now, what are the measures to overcome the hurdle posed by corporate culture? From the studies discussed above, it is visible that corporate culture acts as a significant barrier for the advancement of women in the corporate sector. Various studies have identified measures and that should be initiated by the companies to overcome the hurdles which are posed as a corporate culture. It includes implementing a comprehensive ecosystem which promote women's advancement on the corporate ladder, promote inclusive programs, introducing gender neutral HR policies, etc. McKinsey and Company, in their research on women representation at the top of the corporation, indicated a need to create an ecosystem of measures which would help in creating an environment to promote women's participation in the top management. The measures suggested to create ecosystem where CEO and top management should assign topmost priority to promote gender diversity. Program should be conceived to develop leadership qualities among women. Measures should be initiated to ensure that women are systematically included in recruitment and in promotional pipeline. Similarly, the study has also suggested certain actions to address the gap in the corporate culture and mindset, which includes inclusive program. Efforts should be undertaken to make men aware about the difficulty faced by women to reach the top. In addition, companies should focus on building the conviction that what is good for women is equally good for men. Sponsoring. To promote women leaders, companies should encourage the concept of sponsors. Sponsors are different from traditional mentor. A mentor helps the woman to define the career objective, provide them guidance, feedback and support, whereas sponsors are a career enablers and enhance the visibility of women leaders among the top leadership and actively promote women advancement. Human resource policy and other policy. In addition to exclusive programs and sponsorship of women, the company should also introduce HR policy which promote gender diversity, for example, development of performance and leadership models which are diverse and gender neutral, compulsory introduction of flexible working arrangements, a top career both for men and women. Maternity and paternity should be treated at power for both men and women and should not have a negative effect on promotion.
Women are graduating from college at higher rates than ever before, earning more than half of bachelor's degrees last year. Companies are increasingly focused on the benefits of gender equality in the workplace. However, the situation for women in the workplace is not changing fast enough. Women make up 45% of entry-level positions across the workforce, which decreases to 32% at management roles. At the top, women only make up 17% of the C-suite. At the current rate of progress, it will be 100 years before we see real equality in the C-suite. Contrary to popular belief, women are leaving organizations at the same rate as men. However, women are less eager to become a top executive, citing stress and pressure as the key deterrents. Most women see barriers to advancement and feel there are fewer opportunities to advance due to their gender. While 74% of companies claim gender equality is a priority for their CEO, less than half of employees believe it. And only 1/3 feel it is a top priority for their direct manager. More than 90% of women and men believe taking extended family leave will hurt their career. So while programs widely exist, participation is low. This inequality even extends to the home. 41% of working women report doing more childcare than men. 30% report doing more chores. But this does not need to be our reality. While these facts are a wake-up call, we can effect real change. Here are 5 key actions companies can take. Track key metrics to understand the problem. You cannot change what you cannot see. Demonstrate that gender equality is a top priority. Employees must believe that their leaders want change. Identify and interrupt gender bias. We all have unconscious biases to overcome. Rethink work. Redefine what successful careers look like. Create a level playing field. Make sure opportunities and advancement are equitable. It is up to all of us to take action to speed the process of gender equality so everyone benefits. Individuals, organizations, and society.
MWM Consulting, in their research title Cracking the Code, Getting More Women into Senior Executive Roles, have stated that barriers that lead to only few women reaching the top level of major businesses are complex and can be placed into 2 groups, that is supply side issues and demand issues. In supply side issues, factors which force women to step up the corporate ladder and pursue alternative path is enumerated, and demand side issue deliberates on the difficulties faced by women in progressing successfully through the ranks. To overcome the barriers, the study initiated action-oriented steps need to be initiated by the organization under 3 subheads. The first subheading is change should be championed from the very top of the organization. To achieve this change, 4 steps have been suggested. Active top management advocacy.
What is advocacy? Advocacy helps people to speak up and get involved when decisions are being made about their life. Sometimes, people need some help to make choices and say what they want. Advocates are there to be on your side to help you express your views, preferences, and choices. Advocacy is based on the belief that you are the best person to make decisions about your life. Advocates are not there to tell you what to do, make decisions, or even give you advice. They are there to be on your side and walk with you through decision-making processes.
To achieve real progress in gender diversity, issue must be firmly placed at the COE's agenda, and he or she should champion the cause. It should be broad-based. In addition to the firm belief of the COE for change, the change initiative has to be supported by the senior and the middle managers who will be supporting the initiatives at the ground level. Measurement, target and consequence. Along with the commitment for change, a target should also be set for achieving the change, and action should be prescribed in the case of the failure to achieve the target. A carefully crafted change program. The final step is to design initiative to achieve change with clear milestones and accountabilities and resources assigned for the successful implementation. The second critical element suggested by the study is to create an ecosystem which would help to construct such an environment wherein women would thrive in progress. To achieve such an ecosystem, companies need to intervene across 8 key areas. What are those key areas? First, systematic recruitment of women into key senior roles. Systematic recruitment of women into key senior roles. Providing women access to both internal and external network. Developing well-sponsored sponsorship program in initiatives for women rather than mentoring. Take proactive steps to make entry easy for women after maternity leave. Take proactive steps to make entry easy for women after maternity leave. Introduce flexible working and part-time option. Redesign working norms with the use of modern technology, enhancing career development planning and recrafting evaluation process. Next step which has to be taken by the companies are making progress sustainable and changing the underlying culture, along with establishing the commitment to change and taking steps to build a supportive ecosystem, which are both critical steps. Action need to be taken parallel to change the underlying organizational culture to transform this negative culture which hampers the progress of women in the corporate world. Action can be undertaken in the following direction, like firstly, systematic efforts should be undertaken to address the mindset and behaviors that create unconscious bias. Secondly, providing active and consistent women role model. And thirdly, continuous communication of the progress being made in the areas of gender diversity and key success stories.
In my role currently, I manage a team of bankers, and our responsibility is to cover the subsidiaries of our largest clients that are actually headquartered outside the US. What we are responsible for doing is really ensuring that we understand what their objectives are, what their needs are, and leverage the different parts of the bank in order to pull the right people, systems, services, whatever we need together to really deliver that to them.
Is there a trend you see that with the clients?
So that might mean helping them with their core cash management and leveraging the expertise we have in our treasury services. That could be lending, right? We obviously help them from a lending perspective, from a debt perspective, and leveraging our debt capital markets, both on the investment grade and non-investment grade side. And those are some of the products that we focus on within CIB. We also coordinate with the commercial bank as well as asset management and sometimes CCB, again, in order to deliver the whole platform to our clients.
Perfect.
The early part of the week, there's lots of early meetings. So I'll start with an 8 a.m. meeting and then a couple of team meetings and then client calls and meetings, and also invite colleagues where they can give us an update on trends in their lines of business, ways in which we can partner better together. Again, just ways in which keeping my team up to date and keep that internal connectivity, right? It's really, really, really important. And the more we get together, the easier it is for somebody to pick up the phone, to ask a question, to figure out a solution.
Let's summarize today's chapter. The position of women in corporate management has taken substantial strides in last few decades. Yet, across the globe, women are underrepresented in the company's board and executive committees. The question which follows from the above is, what are the impediments that are faced by women in their advancement in the corporate sector? The barrier faced by women employees in their advancement to senior positions are multiple, which can be arranged in two categories. They include barriers which are internal to women, barriers which are due to structural issues which women face in the society as well as in the corporate setting. Although less widespread than societal issues, issues related to corporate culture significantly interferes and inhibit female advancement. The corporate culture includes old boys network, corporate practices and policies in training and career development, and glass cliffs. As compared to social factors and individual mindset, corporate culture appears to be more decisive in determining women's advancement in the corporate world. Various studies have provided ample evidence to prove that unfavorable corporate culture has a significant barrier in women advancement to the top level of organizational hierarchy. Various studies have identified measures that should be initiated by the companies to overcome the hurdles which are posed by the corporate culture. It includes implementing a comprehensive ecosystem which would promote women's advancement on the corporate ladder, promote inclusive program, implement sponsorship schemes for women, include gender neutral HR policy, etc. Thank you.